do dogs have different barks? Do they have a deep bark and a high-pitched bark, or is a dog's bark pretty much the same all the time?
No, it varies significantly. I mean, if you had to pinpoint or parallel the dog's language, is that's it. Their bark and what it sounds like, again, is a window into where their mind is at. Today is a classic textbook example of a prey bark. And at the risk of getting too into the weeds, prey relieves stress for a dog. When a dog is in prey drive 100%, they're happy, they're excited, they're fucking motivated, and that's why you get that high-pitched fucking bark. And I asked you earlier, did you hear him bark last night when I took him out late? And you said, yeah, I think so. I don't know if you noticed what that sounded like in comparison to what it sounded like today. It was the exact opposite of what you heard today, and it was because the alpaca movement down at the barn in the dark. It was the most thunderous. I mean, it echoed in the entire goddamn valley. I mean, it sounded like Cerberus getting his fucking vocal cords butt fucked. I mean, like, it was the deepest, most guttural, fucking intimidating, like, shake your goddamn soul bark that I've heard out of him ever.
Really?
Because he wasn't sure what the fuck it was, and there's a little bit of nerve in there. So when a dog has a guttural, deep, super low fucking bark, that means he's trying to fucking intimidate you, similar to a growl.
Okay.
And many times when you see a dog, what you won't see is in the bite work where there's that high-pitched bark, you'll never see any hair up on the dog, ever. Last night when he barked like that, his hackles were up a little bit, which I don't particularly like to see. But, every dog is going to show a little bit of that sometimes. There is a benefit to having a little edge like that, a little defensiveness. A dog that's so fucking confident that nothing ever worries them is a hard dog to put into defense because they never feel that way. A lot of times pit bulls are that way. That's why most of the time pit bulls, even though they have crazy high prey drive and bite like a motherfucker, is that they're terrible protection and police dogs from an apprehension standpoint most of the time, because they're so goddamn confident, almost to the point where they're stupid confident, is that you almost can't get them to fucking worry about anything in a bad way. Just like with most things in life, in that there needs to be a healthy balance. You want a dog that you can put into defense, but you don't want a dog that goes into defense so fucking quick that they're reactive and nervy and edgy and biting the wrong fucking people for not doing something that's justified being bitten for. To your question / point, it's neat that you picked that up. But yes, there are two disparate, different barks in dogs, and that's when you see them. And again, as an owner, a trainer, a handler, what have you, it's important to log that mentally of say, well, when we're in this environment, I notice a prey bark out of him. I see the same thing. Let me cover the other side. When you're doing certain things and you hear a defensive bark, log that too and realize the different stimuli that elicit a deep defensive fucking defense bark as well, and know the difference and know kind of the dog's threshold of what elicits both of those. One of the things that, people will say, like the dog's in a crate and a kid runs by and he barks. That's a big indicator, again. Is it a high-pitched prey bark because there's just movement, or is it a guttural low bark? A guttural low bark for kids running back and forth would be a huge fucking red flag for me. If I was going to put a dog in a house with kids or something like that, I don't particularly want to see a prey bark, but I can manage that and condition the dog to ignore that much more than a dog that feels threatened and has a guttural, deep defensive bark with something that he shouldn't have. So again, it's one piece of the puzzle that, for somebody in my position, or really anybody trying to evaluate and getting to know your dog better, is that those things are windows into the dog's fucking mind as to what they think about the different stimuli that they come in contact with.
Wow. You mentioned prey drive, and that's exactly where I want to move into next. You talk about it, and you talk about it a ton, and the different levels of prey drive. And can a dog have, you kind of just said it, I believe, with the pit bulls, but can a dog have too much prey drive? What is the right amount you're looking for when you train a dog?
So for police, military, even personal protection work, I want a significant amount. On the personal protection dog side, I like dogs with a little less. They still need to have it. They still need to have enough to want to play ball, and if I'm cracking a whip or a decoy's running away, that incites them, but it's far more manageable.
For a military working dog or police dog, scale of 1 to 10.
Fucking 12.
On a prey drive, you want a 12.
Yeah, I want as much as I can fucking get out of them. Absolutely.
Okay.
I want it to be bordering on unmanageable.
Okay.
And here's why, is that when I talk about doing the overlapping of prey and defense in bite work and building that stress threshold, so, again, prey relieves stress. So when the dog is in prey drive, they're happy, they're fucking emboldened, they're enjoying it, they're driven, firing on all cylinders. When you start to put them into defense drive, that's when now stress starts to build, and you can see it. Their pupils will dilate, their lips move different, their tail may set down a little lower. Excuse me, their ears may move in different, be pinned back more than I'd like to see. They may stiffen up. They may get a little chewy in their grip. They may seem like they're not sure. They may start getting whale-eyed and looking around. They'll do all these different things, and you'll know that when you're at the point where if you put really any more pressure on them, that they're going to crack and it's going to be counterproductive. That's when you freeze. And again, you don't back off, you just don't put any more on, and then you let them make that decision. Now, once they make the decision to come back and come forward, then now I go back into prey. And for me to go into prey, that's high-pitched screaming on my end. That's flailing around and moving. That's turning my head away. That's letting them push me back. All of the things that you see predatorily in the animal kingdom across the board, what do predators do? Well, they don't fucking scream. Think of a lion stalking something. It's not making any fucking noise. Fierce fucking eye contact. Crouching down, slow, methodical, very fucking calculated movement, right? So that's going to put a dog in defense because you're doing predatorial body language to him. So that's going to raise the stress in the dog that's combating you. Once he shows me that he wants to fight me, now I turn into the fucking gazelle. I scream, I flop around, I let him physically dominate me. That relieves all of that stress by putting him back into prey drive, emboldens him, and conditions him to work through that. And so understanding that is really the key concept for bringing the most out of a bite dog while you're working them in that capacity. To your question about why I want that kind of prey drive, the higher that is, the more I can use that to help the dog through stressful situations by relying on his ridiculous fucking prey drive. I've seen some dogs with prey drive so high that it almost didn't matter if they had a defensive side to them or not, because they were so fucking keyed up on something and so retarded about chasing something, to where if you just condition them to go through your series, whether it's grabbing their collar or slapping them on the ribs and making a preparatory command or whatever, is that you go through that, and now the dog knows whatever's standing in front of me is it. Their prey drive is so fucking high that when they go in there, they can run through a goddamn barbed wire fence. It could be a building that's on fire, and they don't even realize it because their drive is so high, it's carrying them through all of that shit. And so if it's just a working application, yes, I want as much fucking prey drive as I can possibly find in a dog. A dog like Duke, it's a fucking 11. It's really fucking high. That dog, wants to chase absolutely fucking everything. And so when he's biting you, there's a lot of things you can do to him that he's not even going to fucking notice. No different than you in a street fight, right? Is it when it's...
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.